Step into realms where the heart takes flight, where strategy meets the edge of night. The dungeons, dragons, and psychology part decks. Prepare your mind. Now be our guest.
On the show, we've talked a lot about different editions of role-playing games and our thoughts and feelings on how they work. But on today's episode, we're going to delve into playing a scenario through 4 different editions and seeing just how they play out differently. This will be a longer episode, but it should be pretty interesting if you stick with us all the way through the end. I'm Robert Walker, author of Session Zero, the DMG to writing great campaigns in any system, and this is my show where I teach collaborative storytellers how to have more immersive campaigns using psychology. So let's get right into this episode and see how different editions of role-playing games play out with 2 specific scenarios.
Hi there, my name is Joseph Henry. I am an economist, but a wizard at heart.
Okay, so I've got Joe on the show today, and I have no idea what our topic is, really. He has given me clear ideas that he wanted to come on the show. He's been on before. You've probably heard him in some of our previous episodes, but he had an exciting concept that he wanted to share with me that has something to do with editions and character generation and all that sort of thing. So I'm actually going to let Joe go ahead and take over talking for a minute.
Why, thank you. I appreciate it, Rob. So, fun fact about myself. I actually didn't play D&D with people with any regularity until I started playing with your group. I actually learned 3.5 from the Giant in the Playground message boards because I was, of course, a mega nerd with very few friends, as many of us are.
Right.
And I've been thinking a lot lately about how gameplay, like the feeling of D&D, has changed over the years, particularly between editions. And I want to give something back, especially to those message boards that I actually really learned this whole thing from. And that is in the form of what I'm going to refer to as lethality and variance as terms of how we expect encounters to go and how that impacts the feel of your games.
Variance is something we talked about previously on an episode you were on before, which was stat generation methods in season 1. So if you all haven't heard that episode, that'd be a good one to basically broach the subject of what we're talking about in variance, especially when it comes to stats, that idea. Is that what you're talking about today?
Exactly. And particularly this idea of how different the same encounter can be across a few situations. So I've actually designed something of a gauntlet for you, where effectively I will encourage you to walk a mile in my 7-league boots, if you will.
Okay.
And essentially we're going to tackle the same 2 scenarios. You will tackle the same 2 scenarios in 4 different editions. That is 3.5, Pathfinder 5e. Yes, I know, 5e. And Pathfinder 2nd edition. And I think you will notice, especially as these go on, how these encounters vary dramatically based on the edition that we're in.
Okay.
So if you're feeling game for this, I have prepared a character sheet for you, which is actually modeled after myself from your current 2nd edition Pathfinder game.
Okay.
But now in 3.5. So this is what you have to work with. For background, in this scenario, you have just graduated from wizard school. You are sleeping off a raucous night of drinking and are passed out in your bed in the wizard dorm before heading off to the local adventurers guild to get registered.
Fascinating.
Currently, you're asleep.
It looks like I've got a 3.5 edition character sheet in my hand right now, a 1st level wizard, Strength 12, Dex 14, Con 10, Intelligence 17, Wisdom 8, and Charisma 13 for those who want to keep track on their own time. All right, let's dive into the scenario with this 3.5 edition first level wizard.
One side note, as we have previously argued at length about character generation, all of these are based on the recommended rules for character creation in each edition.
Okay.
As written, which for almost all of them is simply a elite array plus racial modifiers.
Right.
In the case of 4E, second edition, that is somewhat different for reasons discussed previously.
Second edition Pathfinder, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to need a perception check from you. Oh, excuse me, 3.5. Right. I'm going to need a spot and listen check from you.
Well, all right. Natural 1 on my spot check and a listen check of 5.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. And I believe you'll notice if you look at that back page, you actually have a familiar who also gets a spot and listen check.
Ah, very good. Okay, so we have a spot of 10 and a listen of 12 for the familiar.
Gotcha. Well, I am very sad to tell you that does not detect the lurking menace currently laying on your chest as Vendetta, one of your dorm mates' house cats, sinks its fangs into your neck for 1 point of damage.
Oh, he's not going to coup de grace me? Come on, this is 3.5. He
He's
can
an
kill. He can
animal.
kill me right now.
He doesn't have special attack options, nor will he try to disarm you. But we are now actually in initiative, so go ahead and give me an initiative check next, please.
All right, we're rolling an initiative check, and that is going to give me a
I suppose it's
19
initiative. You will win initiative. Out of curiosity, Rob, how much life do you have left after that 1 point of damage sneak attack?
3 points.
Ooh, out of how much?
4.
Interesting. Carry on. I believe it is your turn. You are currently laying with no shirt on, only your pants, thankfully, in your own bed. But it is very dark. You can still make out the outlines of things, but anything you attack in this room will be treated with concealment.
Perfect. So this is a cat that appears to be on me.
Mm-hmm. A standard house cat.
A
Yes.
standard house cat. Excellent. I'm going to cast defensively
While prone.
by making a concentration check.
Interesting. All right. Carry on.
Let's see here. 4 ranks, con of 0. All right, that gives me a 13.
13. And what are you casting?
A first level spell, which is color spray, to attempt to put the cat to sleep.
If I recall correctly, casting defensively, is that 15 plus spell level?
Oh, probably in 3.5. I believe that is correct, so it's going to fail either way.
That is problematic. This does seem worth checking on, though, as this may very well decide whether you live or die. So we may as well check this. Let's see. Casting defensively is 15 plus spell level. Alas.
Yeah.
All right. Your color spray fizzles. I believe you have a move action left.
All right, as a move action, I will attempt to stand up.
Okay. Vendetta, the house cat, will take an attack of opportunity.
He hasn't acted in initiative yet, has he?
He would have acted.
I
on the
get prize round. Yeah, that totally counts. You're right. All right, he'll make an attack of opportunity.
That's right. Let's see. Get back to my cat block, if you will. Here. This one is a natural 1. He will miss.
Okay, so he misses as I stand up.
Right.
I assume he'll also probably need a reflex save to avoid falling to the ground.
I believe those are house rules that were added later. A natural 1 on an attack roll or save simply fails in 3.5.
Right, but he was laying on my chest and now I'm standing. He has not initiated a grapple, so he can't continue to hang on to me.
Interesting. Okay. So this would be an acrobatics check to avoid falling with the thing he's standing on jumping up? Is that the idea?
I'm thinking
Or is
that,
this
or
attack roll
either that or he probably just, he's a cat, so he has those land on your feet thing in 3.5, so he probably just appears in the thing next, in the square adjacent
Falls
to me.
Feet down next to you.
Yeah,
All right. I'm on board with this. I imagine a plus 10 balance would do it as well, but
probably. Honestly, he probably doesn't need anything. He's just, I would assume as a DM, I would rule that he is in the square adjacent to me and I am now standing.
right. Well, I mean, he is a tiny animal.
True.
Same
So
square
it could
is
be
what
in
I
the
was
same
thinking,
square.
which is important for reach reasons.
True.
Of 0.
Correct. All right. So I'm standing no longer prone. He's in the same square with me as a tiny creature on all fours because he's a cat.
Right. But we are now active. And out of curiosity, Rob, do humans have low light vision?
Humans do not. No.
That may come up. Moving on to Vendetta's turn. He's going to open up with a full attack on you, biting to start. This is going to be I assume a 6 would not connect on you.
6 misses.
That's a shame. Let's see how those claws do, though. 7 and another 1. Okay. All right. A full flurry of claws leaves you unscathed.
Perfect. Well,
perhaps bewildered.
Okay. This wizard should not have graduated school. He does not have magic missile or any offensive spells whatsoever.
Okay.
So I would say this is a terrible build, but I'm going to go ahead and cast defensively magic weapon on my unarmed attack.
I should point out, you are laying prone in your bed, and although
I stood up as a move action.
Excuse me. You are waking up from a bender with a freshly assailed cat next to you. At this current moment, you have your items scattered about the room, which you can reach and grab very easily, but they are not in your bed with you. Who sleeps the crossbow under their pillow anyway?
We'll be right back.
Hey, Cyclithids, if you love the Dungeons, Dragons, and Psychology podcast and want to help keep it alive, there are a ton of ways you can support the show. Join us on Patreon for exclusive content like NPC character sheets, early access to new products, and even first looks at DM's Assistant app. You can also grab gaming-inspired merch on the Etsy shop, Games for Games, or pick up one of my books, The Player's Handbook to Real Life, or Session Zero, the DMG to writing great campaigns in any system. And even if financial support isn't in the cards for you, you can still help by sharing the show, leaving reviews, or introducing new players to our community. Links are always in the show notes, and thank you for being the heart of our adventure. Oh, actually, you know what I think I'll do here is decent charisma. I'm going to attempt a handle animal check to just get the animal to back down.
Interesting. Okay. I do have background set up for this, by the way, so I'm curious to see what this is.
Not great. That's a 7. So that's probably going to do nothing.
7 handle animal will not overcome what is in play here.
Correct. Trait nearsighted. Okay. In that case, I will use the rest of my action to be defensive.
Taking total defense?
I used a skill check. I don't think I can take a total, but I could probably take a partial.
Interesting.
And then I will just let my Icus attack the cat.
I don't believe I wrote down the attack bonus for Radicus in this block, but I believe it is set based on your own BAB as a wizard in this case, plus his strength of -4. So this would be an attack at a negative, scratch it, -2, because he's getting a +2 for his size category.
Okay.
Carry on.
He also, yes, he gets a +2 for his size category. All right, so he gets a 17.
17 will connect. Minimum damage is 1. And I believe that that'll actually require a fort save against Filth Fever, which Vendetta will pass handily.
Okay.
And by that, I mean on the nose.
So now there's a rat next to him who's hit him.
A rat and a cat, yes.
A rat next to the cat who has actually made contact and damaged the cat.
Correct. All right. Do you have anything else on your turn?
Nope, that's it.
All right, moving on. I'm surprised you haven't run for distance here. I realize it's only a 10-foot by 15-foot room, but a couple inches might make the difference here. The cat's going to go back in for a big bite.
Now, the cat is attacking the large creature towering over him as opposed to attacking the creature who's made contact with him.
For reasons that will likely become clear in the later iterations of this fight.
Okay.
Yes. This one is I assume a 10 does not connect on you?
Does not connect.
Interesting. You know, thinking about this, low light vision in this case, there wouldn't be any penalties to your AC in this case because you're both standing and in initiative. We wouldn't be dealing with invisibility here, right? No, that'd be pitch black. Cool. All right. I'm not missing anything. Moving on.
So you're saying the room is pitch black?
Almost pitch black. We are dealing with dim illumination.
Dim illumination.
I got to tell you, Rob, this is the 5th one I've rolled so far for this cat on the first swipe of his turn. You didn't do anything as these dice, did you?
No, you chose them.
Interesting. Sorry, I hate to be catty like that. That 8 will miss you as well. Please, your turn.
All right. Well, since it is dark, I will go ahead and let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and withdraw out of the room.
Interesting. All right.
I believe that first 5-foot step does not provoke attack of opportunity,
Correct.
and he's tiny. He can't reach me in the next one.
Exactly. So your 5-foot step gets you away. You move to the door. And as you open it or attempt to open it, you realize that it is jammed somehow.
Very good. In that case, I will just have my Picus.
His full name is Radicus Maximus, if it matters.
Perfect. Make another attack. With a -2, that's a 16.
A 16 will connect on our dear kitty cat Vendetta.
He will make another 1 point of damage to Vendetta.
That is enough to drop him, and he is neutralized. Now, we can play out the rest of this, investigating like the local nonsense, but I must say, you've already done better than I was expecting. One of the running memes on said message boards was the idea of there being a non-zero chance of dying to a house cat, which got me thinking about this, because with 5 ones in this, if 3 of those had connected, this would have been a somewhat somber tone.
I also rolled a 1 on my first check as well. So 6 ones, cumulative ones between the two of us. Yeah, interesting scenario. I've seen this one. I've read this one many times on the message boards myself.
The ambush by house cat?
Correct. Which, yeah, I obviously, sure, when you're a first level wizard all by yourself in your lonesome, yeah, there's that lethality of 3.5. But
in this case, you walked out mostly unscathed. Perhaps
mostly
scratch.
Mostly. I did take 25% of my hit points.
Exactly. So, session debrief for this one. What is your current health, total, and max?
3 out of 4.
Okay. In terms of funness and engaging, like a difficulty that is compelling to you, where would you put this on a scale of 1 to 10?
8.
8?
I mean, obviously frightening. Thinking of myself as a first level wizard with no offensive spells who could have just been laid out by a cat. As a DM's note, if I was setting up a scenario like this and realist, if my whole point was to prove a point that a house cat would destroy a first level wizard in the dark, I would have just coup de grace myself.
It's true. I didn't think it was very sporting to go with the coup de grace, especially considering with a 10 con on this character, that basically means you'd automatically fail the 2 damage.
Correct. But I think that does make the point you're trying to make here, which is
it's too close.
First level setup for a first level wizard in 3.5 is a very lethal thing to be, or very vulnerable thing to be.
Yeah, the tails of this are far too... The chance of you dying to a house cat should probably be lower than 50% in an ideal system, is really what I'm getting at with this. But I believe you will remember this next encounter because it is a pared down version of the very first encounter I had with you DMing.
Yeah, okay, very good. Are we still 3.5 here?
We are for now. All right. So, context for scenario 2. You are at a festival at a major city. I believe we need to avoid IP stuff, right? This can't be Magnamar.
I mean...
Do we not care?
We don't care.
Okay. Well, first session that we ever played together was with you running Rise of the Rune Lords.
Sure.
And basically, goblins ransack the place. Now, I'm not quite opinionated enough about 3.5 to make you fight all 16 of the goblins on your own, but you are up against 4 of them, which burst out of a nearby...
Wait, with no offensive spells?
You have some offensive spells. Look it over close.
I have magic weapon.
You have exactly what I handled the 4 goblins with in that first session.
Incorrect.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have backup.
Oh, well, it's true, but the backup handled the other 12 goblins. This is your portion of the 4.
And you survived.
It's true. And I have the utmost faith that you will survive this as well. It is only 4 goblins, Robert.
Oh, that is true.
So, the 4 gobs from the cob burst out of a nearby corn stand and begin singing in a thoroughly disconcerting fashion. But then they notice you immediately and point their tiny javelins your way. Could you roll initiative for me, please?
Yeah, 6.
6? All right, fair enough. We'll roll all the goblins at once for the sake of keeping initiative tight, and that is going to be a 17. So, I believe in this case you may be in a little bit of additional peril, as I don't believe you have mage armor up yet. but that will come up in later editions. So goblins 1 and 2 will march up to you and pull out their morning stars along the way. See what kind of damage they can do. Now, notably, they are not flanking here, nor are they quite diabolical enough to do so just yet, I think. We'll see. Does a 19 connect on you?
Sure does.
It's problematic. Only 1 point of damage, though, on that d6.
Okay.
So not doing too bad. Second one will swing for 21 will hit, I'm
Hits.
sure.
Yep.
And this is 3 damage from
All right.
our second
And I'm down.
down. So let's see. 3.5. This really came down to initiative, right? Because I believe...
No, it just came down to getting hit.
Well, yeah. But I mean,
Like,
that is what initiative is.
Realistically speaking, both of those hit me. If I had major armor on, I still am down.
Right? Okay. That's fair.
So literally, that was just this wizard got hit.
Right.
First level wizard down.
And I will point out that the bonuses to hit on a goblin like this is only +2 and 3.5. So really, the vast majority of the actual bonus to hit on this is just a die roll,
Sure.
which is fine depending on your system. But again, we'll get back into that later. So 3.5 is a bit abrupt, which is really what we're getting at. But let's do our debrief. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how engaging is this encounter in terms of difficulty?
Well, this particular setup, not very engaging at all.
Right.
But frankly, it's not because I was all by myself and went down. It's because I don't have a party.
There's
There's really no story here.
Right.
Right? Like none of these are going to be engaging without a story.
It's true. And that's fair. When I say engaging, sorry, I'm trying to get at something very specific here, where there is a level of difficulty that is compelling. You think you can encounter. And this is where all the Dark Souls, the Elden Rings, this is where they get their appeal from. Because you want a certain level of challenge. You want to be able to look at something and know that you can be laid out, but you probably still have a shot. And the way D&D has evolved in the last, say, 10 years, I think is going in the right direction. But I'm not sure that we have language to notice what's happening yet, which is what we'll get into as this continues.
I think I'll be interested to see what happens in the next few.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the thing for me that has always been compelling about 3.5 is its lethality in early levels. Because if I were to survive this, that's a great story.
It's true.
But in other editions, if I were to survive it, it's just normal.
It is a run-of-the-mill encounter.
Correct.
Interesting.
So we'll see that as that goes on. But overcoming the challenges that you shouldn't be able to overcome, that really is like the hero story. Surviving an encounter that is designed to be balanced and you should survive it normally is not a hero story. That is just a normal thing.
Meaning you're hoping for a better than even chance of losing.
I'm hoping for I'd like the encounter to be by myself. I'm not going to survive it. With my friends, my companions, and working together as a team, then all of a sudden we have the better than even chance.
Right.
We're using our deficiencies and our strengths together.
Okay.
Which, we have to rely on each other a lot, which that's what I know. We've talked about this a few times, and Nate has been on the show a few times. We've talked about that. What we love about 3.5 is it requires you to rely on your allies to be successful. Whereas that's not the same story that exists in the other editions.
Interesting. The teamwork was a relic of 3.5?
Cool. Well, not necessarily, but I think we've found, and we've seen a lot you've played Pathfinder a lot with us. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of parties where individual members can be chaotic, can be individualistic, can run off and do their own thing, and still have a reasonable degree of survivability. And yet, if they were to do that with a lethality of 3.5, there's a lot more...
They get laid out in short.
Yeah, there's a lot more consequences to not being part of the party.
Interesting. See, I feel like this may be kind of something that's implicit in how your DM handles things, because let's say if you take the Munchkin to run amok and set windmills on fire.
We've seen that.
To pluck an example from the air.
Just random example that definitely did not ever really did happen.
Totally random.
Right.
That kind of encounter would typically, or rather action, would typically be countered by, say, the guards going after you for arson. Right?
Sure.
But I think very often this is something that players kind of, or DMs, especially new DMs, shy away from because the idea of going out and axing a, let's say, sociopath player,
Correct.
Obviously creates some tabletop concerns.
Well, it's something even as a DM I struggle with. Like sometimes I definitely struggle with what are the consequences for chaotic actions or unlawful actions in a society. And sometimes it's just easier to sweep those under the rug than to bring them to their actual fruition.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Because really nobody benefits if somebody...
But then again, in 3.5, the answer is simple. You have a cat attack your wizard in the middle of the night and problem solved, where all your other editions have so many checks and balances against dying easily that you can't solve it that way.
That's an interesting point, and I'm actually curious to see how this goes because Pathfinder, the first edition, is not a whole lot.
It's not too different.
It restricts the ceiling and floor somewhat, I think, which is part of why I think we played with it for so long.
Right.
But let's see how the same scenario goes with a Pathfinder wizard.
Very good.
Notably, I believe this is the last time you have Radicus.
Oh.
So make good use of him.
All right, Radicus. It's you and me, buddy.
All right. Same scenario. You have just gotten off a extended bender after graduating wizard school. You are passed out in your dorm room with nothing but your pants and a spell component pouch at your hip. Go ahead and roll perception for me.
Okay. Another natural one on my perception. So we're starting off this encounter exactly the same way I started it off last time. I fail my perception check.
That is a shame. And his stealth is actually quite good for obvious reasons. I do believe Radicus gets a perception check, though. Let's see if he saves you.
He does. He's got a natural 1 on his perception check.
That variance, though.
Gotta love it.
All right. Well,
the dice know the story.
So you are abruptly awoken by the feeling of fangs sinking into your neck. And, it occurs to me, I should probably be rolling on this because if it is a crit, that may very well take a substantial chunk of your health. But not with a roll like that, I'm afraid. That's okay. I believe a 8 still hits your helpless AC.
Let's see.
That would be flat-footed.
Flat-footed -4.
-5. Your dex would be 0. Also prone.
Yes, that hits.
Okay. So that is 1 damage. How much life do you have in Pathfinder?
7.
7. All right. Well, let's see how this goes. All right. So initiative is up. Surprise round is through. Let's get on with the nibbling. First attack comes out at a...
we need initiative, right?
Didn't we roll initiative? Was the 1?
That was
those were
perception
checks. Right. Initiative.
You're thinking second edition where initiative is the perception check.
I'm sorry. I spent 3 hours setting this up. I'm still kind of guessing.
I've got a 17 on initiative here.
17's quite good. We are actually tied for this, which I believe in Pathfinder is a roll-off. They are the same bonus.
No, I think in Pathfinder, ties always go to the player.
Interesting. I know there's a feat for that in second edition.
Correct, because in second edition, they always go to the enemy.
Monsters
yes.
First. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm on board with this. If we're tied, please carry on.
Okay, well, I'm going to, let's see here. Concentration not being a thing.
Concentration is still a thing. However, it's based on your caster level
Correct.
plus main casting stat.
So I'm going to use that to cast... I'm gonna attempt to stand first.
Okay, fair enough.
There's a cat on me. I will make the attempt to stand. He will get an attack of opportunity against my flat-footed AC.
Move action standard of this full round. Fair enough. This one is a 8 to hit.
That will miss. So I am now standing again. He's probably same thing as 3.5 in my square. I will now take a 5-foot step back.
Interesting. Move action to stand, 5-foot step away.
And then I will cast Mage Armor.
Okay. Very reasonable. And no AO because he doesn't have reach on you.
Correct.
Fair enough.
All right. And then Ratic, the Brave, will attack.
Ready to square off in your bed sheets with a...
Radicus is likely going to miss. I don't see his attack here, but I only rolled a 4.
The attack for this should be... I think it's essentially identical to the 3.5
It should.
ones.
It
2
should
strength,
be.
And your Bab would give it a -4 to hit initially, +2 for size. So -2 to hit.
All right. So he misses.
All right. Misses on the bite. After Vendetta was taken out last time, I am seriously considering rounding up the rat ahead of time. This may be his best chance at survival. Do we have AC on that?
I do. His AC is 15.
It's pretty good for a cat. I believe it's also tied with you for now, but let's see if we can deal with him. So the first bite goes out at a 20 to hit. Poor Radicus.
That will hit.
Okay, that's a single point of damage. Then we've got the claws at a 13 and a 16. I believe that's one other connection.
And one other connection. What I don't see is his hit points on here.
That is half of your hit points now,
that's right.
which I believe was 7 to begin
So
with.
he'll have 3. Yep.
Got it.
So he's taken 2 of 3.
All right. So Vendetta's turn is over. Let's see how you do.
All right, so now I am up. I'm going to make a move action to grab my staff, leaning against the wall.
Very good.
And then I'm going to make a swing at the...
Tell you what, let me roll concealment before you roll a 20 and break your heart.
Oh, that's a good call. Very dark.
That is a 72.
Oh, good. Highs are good for the party.
Indeed. So you are good to go.
Swinging, and that is going to be a 12.
A 12 will miss your poor kitty. Well, not your kitty. The dorm kitty.
Very good. So 12 misses. That was a move action. That was a attack action. Okay, very good.
All right. Solid.
And what's his face is going to attack. Radicus. Radicus the Brave. Ooh, that's a 14.
A 14 hits it on the nose, I believe.
So that Radicus will deal a point of damage.
Initial point on Vendetta. Got it. All right. Next turn. I'm pretty sure I can get through your rat this time. Maybe you. We'll see. First bite goes out at a 12.
That'll miss.
All right. Next one is a 18 to hit.
That'll hit.
And that is
3. That'll drop him.
All right. Radicus is down, and Vendetta is going to take a 5-foot step into your square.
Okay, very good.
He's got you right where he wants you.
All right. I will begin by taking a 5-foot step back and casting light.
Very reasonable. Get rid of that mischance. All right.
And that will take my action.
All right. So I believe you do have a move action left, actually. That's standard and 5 foot, right?
Oh, in that case, I will take a partial defense for another +2 to my AC, bringing me to an 18.
I have some mixed feelings about the partial defense, but I will not bother arguing it.
All right. We're not in 3.5 anymore. We're in...
I think it was always keyed to an attack action, to be honest, but that's fine. We can get into that later. All right. Light is up, and now you are confronted with a cold reality that this place is wrecked. You were apparently much more drunk than you thought you were, and are currently looking at your dorm in a state of disrepair. The door does appear to have something wedged in it from underneath. You could probably pull it out given some time, but I'm not sure you want to turn your back on the denizens of your room right now.
Right.
Especially after your bed is so bloodied. Vendetta's turn. He will step in and go for...
Oh, I will make an attack of opportunity.
It's a 5-foot step, Rob.
Is it?
It is.
I guess it is.
Yeah. Just because he has little...
That's true. No, that's true. Step. You're right. So 5-foot step into my square. Mm-hmm. That's so weird. Into a square with a 5-foot step, and it's not an attack of opportunity.
He's tiny. Same thing applies anytime you're fighting a giant.
How weird. Okay. Very good. Continue.
First bite. This will be a 12 to hit.
That will miss.
12 to... You have Mage Armor up?
Yeah, I guess that my first round.
That was a good call. Next attack comes out at a 19 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, we've got one more point of damage.
Okay.
And the last claw at a 21 to hit.
Also hits.
All right. How are you doing health-wise?
I have 4 of 7 left.
I did not expect Pathfinder to be the one with a difficult kitty.
I mean...
But Vendetta's turn is over. Let's see how you're doing.
All right, very good. I'm going to go ahead and take a full attack, which is a single one, with the staff.
All right.
That is a 20.
Oh, a 20 will definitely hit this.
4 points of damage to the cat.
Yeah, he's done.
Very good.
Okay. Vendetta is down. And I believe we missed the debrief last time, so I'll try to keep this more formal. Rob, what is your current and max HP at the end of this encounter?
I'm of 4 of 7.
4 of 7. In terms of difficulty so far, was this in terms of
I would say
of the difficulty for this counter? I
would say for a first level wizard in Pathfinder, this was an appropriately difficult encounter.
Which notably is based on a 1/4 CR cat, but to be fair, in a very dire situation.
Yeah, I mean, it was an ambush
and dark.
situation, so that does increase, I believe, in 3.5 terms, an ambush increases the challenge rating by +1.
Exactly.
So
I would class this as about a CR1.
Yeah.
That's my sense of it. Now, I'm very interested to see how the Pathfinder version of this Goblin Showdown goes, because I know how it went for me, and, well, I'm still playing with you, so we'll see.
it's true. It's true.
All right. The gobs from the cob stand leap to their feet and are ready to square off against you. You do have 10 feet of distance. And let's see what your initiative looks like.
All right. Initiative makes a big difference here.
It really does.
And I'm going on a 15.
The gobs, actually, hold on. Let me find these. Gobs are rocking a 17 initiative.
Okay. So they beat me on initiative. They can go ahead and go.
All right. So, let's see how this goes. I feel quite bad getting you surrounded this early, but we'll see. Goblin number 1 walks up and is adjacent to you. Let's have 2 of them come up in melee and 2 of them will throw spears. Let's see how they do. First one's coming in with, notably, they have short swords in this edition rather than morning stars. Does a 16
Sure does.
land a hit on you? All right. That's going to be 1d4 points of damage. That's 3.
Okay.
And you are starting from full health on this, of course. You do not have to go straight from vent
I assume.
goblins.
Yeah.
Second one comes in with a, this one is a 16 to hit.
Also hits.
Also connects, and with 1 point of damage.
Okay. I have 3 of 7 remaining.
Okay, all right. And then the other goblins will open up with their short bows. Thankfully, the -4 to hit will be reducing their bonus to hit to only a +0, which I assume a 1 and a 2 will not connect on you.
That is correct.
All right. Well, the situation is dire. How will you handle this?
The situation is dire. I'll go ahead and take a 5-foot step back, and then I will cast Mage Armor.
Very good. Good call.
This will step in front of me,
All right.
meaning that if they move forward, they will provoke an attack of opportunity.
Now, I will point out Redicus has the same 0-foot reach. So
Correct.
they
If
do
they're
in a
moving
square.
up directly to me, right through a square.
But I get your idea.
And then I will go ahead and that's it.
Fair enough. All right. Gobos are up. And let's see how they do. I think they're going to eat your rat first. So 2 of them will step ahead and attempt to skewer your poor Radicus with that is a 16 to hit with flanking.
Yep.
And that is going to be 3 damage.
All right, that will take care of Radicus.
Radicus is down. Next goblin comes after you with his short sword, swinging for the jugular at only a 13, actually.
That will miss, thanks to Mage Armor.
Mage Armor was a great call. And then 2 arrows sail above them for a 18 to hit and a 3.
18 hits.
Okay. And that will be another point of damage.
Very good. I have 2 of 7 remaining.
All right. Well, I believe it is your turn.
All right, now I'm going to go ahead and see. What's the range on color spray?
I believe it is a 15-foot cone.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move a diagonal away from you so that I can hit all of them in that 15-foot cone.
Interesting. Is that going to be here?
No, I was
that
thinking
way.
the other direction.
Here.
And then one step further back, I think that would put it at 5, 10, 15, and 3. It actually is only going to catch 3 of them. So I will catch those 3 in the color spray cone.
Okay, fair enough.
And they will need their saves.
We'll save this at a 3, a 6, and a 9.
Okay, all fail their
down.
color spray.
Now, I believe you need 2d4 here for however long they will be comatose.
I've got 6 rounds.
6 rounds that they're out of the fight. Okay, all right. Your odds have improved dramatically.
Okay, very good.
Radicus would have helped.
That would have helped.
All right. 1 remaining Gobbo will do his very best to fill you full of tiny arrows. I assume a 12 will not hit you.
A 12 will miss.
All right. Well, it is your turn, my friend.
Very good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cast Summon Monster.
Okay.
I don't have the list with me, but I can pull it up. Okay. I am going to summon let's go with a pony.
A pony. Interesting.
Yes, that way we get that hoof bite.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
That will take my until the beginning of my next turn.
That's true. All right. Counting down to 5 rounds remaining on the rest of the Gabos. I believe they wake up blind too, so it won't be a huge concern, but let's see how the remaining one handles you. And actually, in this case, they do appear to be sleeping. So rather than immediately going after you, Gabo standing will do his very best to resuscitate the nearby goblin. However, much to his dismay, this is not a sleep spell. You cannot wake somebody out of color spray. They are comatose.
Wonderful.
That is his full round action.
Awesome. So the pony will arrive right next to the one who is still awake and make a hoof bite. We've got a 19, a 7, and an 18.
Where is this horse coming down, Rob? Like, depending on where this arrives, you may have multiple targets. So
you can put him right in between where he's adjacent to the 2 right there.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. So we've got some bogeys.
So he hits 2.
All right.
That's going to be 5 points of damage to this goblin.
I believe there's augmented summoning in play here, which I believe
very good.
will add damage to each of them.
I think that's 2 more points then. 7 points.
Interesting. And that's 7 points to one and 3 to the other?
All 7 to 1.
All 7 to one of them. Okay. Standing goblin is down. You are left with a gaggle.
So that was the beginning of my turn. I will now take my turn and flee for the next 5 rounds into hiding.
Okay, fair enough. So you scarper away. Are you providing any instructions to your horse in terms of what to
yes,
do?
to continue. I mean, I've only got him for 1 more round, right? Like,
it's actually 3 between the
perfect.
conjuration school bonus and the traits.
yes.
He'll be up to 3.
You're right. I saw that on there.
So this-
Okay, so yes, he's going to spend 3 rounds coup de grace creatures.
Perfect. All right. Goblins are down. Sadly, Radicus has not survived the encounter, but actually quite a bit better than the last one. Debrief. How much health do you have? Current
2 of 7.
2 of 7. Okay. Anyone you walk away from. On a scale of 1 to 10, how engaging is this difficulty in terms of, does it feel appropriate?
Yes, I think it's an appropriate challenge. I think in a traditional setting like this, mage armor probably would have started up in a dangerous situation like this, just because of its duration. However,
what is the duration in Pathfinder? Of mage armor?
I believe it's an hour level.
That's right.
Yeah. So if we were in a town under attack, mage armor probably would have been up for that hour.
That's fair. I actually do feel bad about not giving you mage armor already up in both of these scenarios. I think that for the rest of these,
sleeping, it makes sense, right?
Right.
Be likely to be up for that.
Unless, for example, it was active for a longer duration. Wonder what kind of scenarios would allow that to happen.
So yeah, I think the challenge level is difficult but appropriate.
Okay. And then really kind of the driving question I'm getting at with this. So we know it's difficult. We know that you have some life left. Is this the level of encounter that you'd want in the games that you play now that you have some context with this? Like, does this feel right?
For a solo adventurer, yeah, probably.
But for a group of adventurers, not so much?
Well, definitely not for a group. No. Way too easy for a group.
Right. I distinctly remember encountering, I believe it was 16 goblins on the first round here.
Yeah.
Might have been 12. But there was a healthy gaggle of them, for sure. All right. So we are through Pathfinder and 3.5. And now this one, I do need to apologize in advance for. This is a 5e character sheet. The physical pain.
No, it's fine. All editions have their merit.
Of course.
And I know a lot of people who listen to the show enjoy 5e, and I commend them for their enjoyment of role-playing games in any fashion, whatever they find their enjoyment in. It's not my personal favorite, and I'm more than willing to admit that. But like I said, we've played games in it, we've had fun with it, and
totally fair.
This will be interesting.
I do think that 5e actually does a better job of addressing the ceiling and floor issue, more so than either of the last two. So
you'll definitely have to give me a little more information as we go through this one, simply because I don't know off the top of my head without the rule books the rules of 5e the way I do the other games.
That's okay. I got you. I've played a lot of Baldur's Gate 3.
Perfect.
All right. So we're going to need a perception check from you.
All right.
As you sleep off your bender.
Where are my skills? There they are. 19.
19. That's very good, but much to my dismay, it does not seem like you will be able to detect him even on a 19 in this case. You do, however, have Radicus nearby. No, excuse me. 5e and second edition do not have familiars, so you will be alone for this one. All right. You awake to the feeling of tiny fangs sinking into your neck, piercing through your hangover. We're going to need initiative as Vendetta scores a point of damage on you.
And where are my hit points on here? There they are. All right, so 1 point of damage. My initiative bonus is going to put me at 9.
Cat is also 9, in fact. I think 3.5 was always roll-offs.
Okay.
I trust your opinion on Paizo. For 5e, I think it's
8.
8. 19 on this one.
All right.
Vendetta goes in for... Now, this is interesting. He only has a single attack of claws in this version.
Mm-hmm.
There is no bite. So the initial attack of 13, I believe, will hit you.
It will.
Prone.
Yeah.
All right. And this is 1d1 slashing damage. So this isn't even going to involve the negatives as before. But it is a point down. You're up.
Okay. So I'm down 2 points. Mm-hmm. I will, let's see, 5th edition attacks
So
of opportunities. I don't think they kick off without the feat, right? Or that's 2e, Pathfinder 2e.
So in this case, basically, you have move action, and bonus actions. I don't believe you have any bonus actions.
Perfect. Well, move action, I will attempt to stand.
All right. That'll give him the single bite on you as you stand up, unless you'd rather use a full round action to do so.
Nope. Go ahead and let him take the bite.
Onto the bite. That's going to be a 17 to hit on this one.
Yep, that'll hit.
All right.
So I'm now at 3 of 6 hit points. Right. I will attack him with a Burning Hands.
Good deal. That was a reaction, which basically leaves him without an immediate action for the next turn.
Correct. And doesn't give him the opportunity to make the attack on my spell.
That's correct. All right. Well, I believe a reflex save is in order then. Do you happen to know what the damage is on Burning Hands in 5e?
I believe it's a D6, but I'll pull it up.
You might want to look it over again. And I believe the DC on this is spell level plus casting stat plus 10.
Oh, 3d6. Very good.
Indeed. So the reflex save from Vendetta will be a 12.
All right. He takes 15 points of damage.
Vendetta is incinerated, and you clear this handily. Fair enough. I have a whole bit with this involving exploring the local dorm, but I'm worried we're going to significantly run over your show times if we get too deep into this.
Definitely will.
So, moving on to the marketplace debacle. You arrive to find several goblins singing. Let's say Mage Armor is already up for the case of, just for the sake of being sporting.
Oh, well, I mean, it does last for 8 hours in 5th edition, so.
As opposed to the 1?
Yeah.
That's a significant improvement. All right. So, Gobos are active. They have found their ditty and are looking for a place to put their spears. I believe I need to track down.
I'll get a 4 on my initiative for this encounter.
Okay, fair enough. And the goblins will be moving on. 19. All right. Out of curiosity, what's your AC in this edition?
Depends on the bonus that Mage Armor gives here.
I believe Mage Armor is just the straight +4.
Then,
no, I could be wrong, actually. Excuse me. It's 13 plus Dex.
13. The target's AC becomes 13 plus its dexterity modifier.
Perfect.
So very good. I'm going to have a 15.
Interesting. All right. Well, let's see how the goblins do. So this will be, let's say, 2 scimitars and the short bows from behind as previous. Goblins move up, and this one will be a 18 to hit on the first swing.
Yep.
That's going to be 1d6 plus 2 slashing damage for 6.
And I'm down.
Interesting. All right. Truth be told, I was not expecting 5th edition to be the quickest version through this encounter. But let's do our debrief. What is your health at, current and max?
Well, 0 of 6.
0 of 6. Fair enough. Challenging.
Let's see, how did their... Because they have death saves, right?
Right. So the idea here is each round after this, you'd be making a con save against a increasing DC.
Right. So unconscious right now. Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Right. But effectively, this one's
done. Correct.
In terms of difficulty, 1 to 10, do you think this is an appropriate level considering it's you against the 4 of them?
No.
No? In that it feels much... Does it feel significantly harder than, say, 3.5?
Well, I mean, obviously, the roll of the dice has a lot to do with any of these scenarios. However, the scaling back of mage armor, which gave me a lower AC than it would have in either of the previous two editions. I suppose that was probably done because your attack power is a little bit higher and your recovery time is a little bit faster.
The short rest.
The short rest in 5th edition. But yeah, I think the first encounter with the cat in the room felt to me ridiculous.
Like almost trivial?
Very trivial.
Interesting.
Where this one did feel a little bit over the top. The amount of damage that they can do on a single attack compared to the previous is a little bit crazy.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, looking at this, truth be told, I didn't realize that they actually have a strength bonus to damage in this one. They're looking at 1d6 plus 2 slashing damage. And pardon me, that's from their actual decks.
Right.
But even that is like a tremendous difference from the previous ones, which were swinging with a 1d4.
But
damage.
I think you're probably also looking at a challenge rating here that is a challenge rating of 1 as opposed to looking at a challenge rating of 1/4, right? So,
that's the thing that really kind of throws me about this. I'm looking over the stat block. I don't see a CR rating. Oh, no, excuse me. It is a challenge rating 1/4. So that's actually lower than the previous ones, which placed them at a 1/3.
Interesting.
Right. Doesn't feel that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, that's very different. All right, let's hit Pathfinder 2e real quick.
Onward to the last. All right. What do you think? Will this be easier, harder? Thoughts?
Easier.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting. Curious to see how it goes. All right. We're going to need a perception check, and because these are tied together in 2nd edition, this will also serve as your initiative.
Very good. Not great. So let's see here. We have a 9. My perception / initiative.
Gotcha. Fair enough. And it is... I'm going to need to find a stand-in for this for 2nd edition because I've been looking over these and it seems to be the only one that doesn't actually have a cat on book. Let's see. Do we have a dog, perhaps? No. What do you think a reasonable stand-in would be? A weasel, perhaps?
Probably, yeah.
Weasel. Not to weasel out of this one, but we can work with that. All right. Level rating looks right. Only has 1 attack. All right. We can work with this. All right. Lacking a stat block. Let's see how this goes. So that was a 15 on the stealth here against your perception of...
my perception was only a 9.
All right. Well, poor Vendetta will be able to start his savagery a little bit earlier, I think, then. All right. Surprise round. Bite for a 27.
Yep.
All right.
That is technically a critical according to 2E rules. It's more than 10 above my AC.
That's right. Okay. And in terms of damage, we're looking at 4. So this will be 8 points of damage. Notably, this would have immediately deleted you in the prior editions. What's your health at?
Except it wouldn't have been an automatic critical in any previous editions.
That's fair.
Yeah.
How's your health looking?
I have taken 8 points out of a total of 14.
14. Right.
Correct.
Okay. Moving on. It is the top of the initiative. All right. Well, our cat will take his first attack on you. I just realized how this is going to go. 17 to hit?
Yes.
Oh, and sorry, just to clarify, Mage Armor is actually active from your bender. You cast it before your graduation ceremony. So it is actually in play right now, setting your AC at, I believe that is 1 in addition to your normal unarmored AC. What is that? 16?
It'll be 17 if I get the bonus 1. They don't play. Do they play flat-footed? I think so.
They do.
So it's a minus.
This only gives you a -2, so your AC
Right.
is actually 15.
So it'll be 15 currently.
All right. First one connects, and this will be a bite for 5 damage.
Okay.
I believe that drops you.
Nope. I have 1 hit point left.
All right. Then these other 2 attacks will come in off of his iteratives. This one's at a 3 for a 12. I assume will not hit.
Will not hit.
And the last one at a 10 will not hit you either.
Correct.
All right. You're up.
All right. So I will use my first action to stand.
No AO. He does not have
Correct.
attack of opportunity as a feat.
And then I will use my second act to produce flame.
I believe that's 2 actions here, but
Well, that's what
get
I'm next 2 acts to produce flame.
good deal.
And
And I believe you'll probably be using it as a melee attack in this case.
yes, I definitely am.
Okay.
Let me just pull up the spell real quick. Okay, so making an attack. That is probably going to be a critical.
Oh.
It's a 26.
Oh, a 26 is definitely going to hit. That will, in fact, crit.
All right, so he's going to take 8 points of damage, and he's going to take 4 persistent damage on his turn.
Your hand of fire will reduce the offending vend to ash, and you have cleared this encounter with our Weasley kitty. Review. Health. What is your current health to max?
I have 1 of 14 points left.
All right, fair enough. In terms of difficulty, on a scale of 1 to 10, how appropriate does this feel as an encounter?
Again, for a single character by themselves in an ambush scenario, that feels about the right appropriateness.
Okay.
Survived the ambush, but just barely.
Interesting. So this is both approval and also seeming it's about right. So would this place it around a 7 or an 8 for you?
I'd say an 8, probably. Yeah.
I think 8's a good red line to brush up against. All right, last one. You against some gobos. The gobos of the cob. That should really be the gobos of the cobbos. I apologize for whiffing that pun. All right, it's set up. Your mage armor is active well in advance in this case, so you can count on that in this scenario. And goblins are again standing roughly 10 feet in front of you, with one of them displaced from the pack. So this to disrupt the square. Gonna need a opposed perception checks.
All right, I'll have 21.
21, got it. And they are, that is goblins, the character race. Here we go. 11 for the perception. You have the drop on them.
Okay, excellent.
What are you going to do?
I will hit all of them with color spray.
That's most unfortunate. All right. Now, I believe to set this off, you'll actually need to be here.
Yes.
But they do not have attacks of opportunity, so you're still fine. Please carry on.
All right, they will need a will save.
All right. What's your DC on this?
That's an excellent question.
Should be on that front sheet at the top left, I believe.
17.
Gotcha. All right. So in, let's say, starting with the top one going clockwise, Goblin 1 is going to have a 20. So that's a pass on the first one.
Okay.
Followed by a 14, a 19, and a 9.
Okay, the 14 and the 9 failed. They are stunned 1, blinded 1, and dazzled for a minute. The 2 who succeeded are dazzled for a round.
Stunned 1, blinded 1, and dazzled for a round. Got it. All right.
And then with my no axe left, I will end my turn.
Fair enough. All right, takes us to the gobos, and I'll just follow them around in the same initiative order. So the first one will scuttle on up to you and take a swing to attempt to attack you with his dog slicer. Does a 17 connect on you?
It does, yes.
That's on the nose?
Correct.
All right. This is flat D6 for damage. That's 6 points on the first one.
Okay.
As he takes out good chunk of your hamstring. A 1 on the second one is just a straight failure, and that is his turn, as he had to move and swing twice. Now, the 2 that are stunned just lose an action out of this. It doesn't shut down their entire turn, which is actually one of the things I prefer about this edition. But they do still have 2 actions, which they will use to... one of them will take a bow shot, will attempt 2 bow shots. And the other one will step back and shoot at you as well. Both of these have a -1. So that is a 16 to hit on the first one.
Now they were blinded 1, 2. Does that last for 1 round, or is that just one action?
That's an excellent point. I was remembering the dazzled. I'd forgotten the blind. So in this case, that will reduce them to melee attacks only. It's clearly, the crossbow is not going to be a great option from a blind one.
Right.
And that also means we need to be rolling displacement. So let's see. We'll call it a 6 or lower is a miss. No, good for the party.
Right.
7 or higher is a miss. That's a miss on 1 and a possible hit on the second, which gives us a miss from the initial attack, and then the 20 on the die misses you due to displacement. Lovely. All right. And then the final gobbo, mostly unhindered, will attack with a 26.
That is not a critical, but it hits.
Okay. All right. and he manages to score 4 damage on you with his machete. How are you doing?
Not great.
But standing?
I'm still standing.
Okay.
I have 4 of my 14 hit points remaining.
Okay, fair enough. It's your turn. What are you going to do?
Well, the realistic thing I should do here is probably flee. However, I'm going to take a look at this electric arc spell that I've got, because I'm not sure exactly what it does.
This is essentially a reflex-based offensive lightning attack that hits 2 people instead of 1.
Oh, perfect. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a move to move back my 25 feet.
Okay.
With 1 act. And then I will use my 2 acts to, still within my 30-foot range of electric arc, hit 2 creatures that are adjacent to each other. Those first 2 in front, making an attack with my...
and this is actually 2 reflex saves, rather than...
It is 2 reflex saves. Yeah, basic reflex, you're right.
So we've got a 9 on the first one and a 16 on the second. I believe those both fail?
Both fail.
All right, give me damage.
So these are going to be 1d4 plus 4. So the first one takes 7, and the next one takes 6.
All right. They are actually both down from that.
Perfect.
Cleared. You have 2 gobos remaining. All right. Gobbo number 3 is no longer blind. He's blinded for a round.
Correct.
All right.
Blinded
so we have 2 gobos left, and both of them are at range. They're going to take some pot shots with that short bow. And you're still within 60 feet, so we won't be seeing any major misses yet. This is the part I'm most worried about, actually, but we'll see. Does a 13 will not connect, I'm sure.
So the first one is still dazzled for a minute. The one that failed to save is still dazzled for a minute. So
12 on the first one then.
Okay. Misses.
Okay. And then the second one is coming in at a 23.
That definitely hits.
All right. And this one will have 1d6 damage. 4 to you. Does that drop you?
It does take me to 0.
0. Okay. I think you do...
You stay standing in Pathfinder 2e is 0, I believe.
I think that is accurate. I think it has a similar drop mechanic to 3.5, but it seems like a good time to check it out. What do we have here?
Knocked out. Yeah. So I am unconscious.
Knocked out at 0?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, so that will effectively end that encounter.
Fair enough. All right. Debrief. Current HP, post-goblins.
0 of 14.
14? Okay. Difficulty, 1 to 10. Does this feel like an appropriate encounter for what you were?
For a single individual, too much.
Too much.
Difficulty 9, because definitely given the variability of the dice, it could have gone my way, but didn't.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of variance built into this game purely from the fact that we're rolling a d20. That's a massive spread to add on to any kind of roll. Now, notably, this is actually something that I respect the most about a second edition is they just nerfed the heck out of color spray because as you saw with some of these previous encounters, this absolutely will lay out a group of enemies that are at a reasonable, like a low level range. But that also takes a lot of fun out of it.
Well, I mean, they did nerf it, but they also greatly empowered it.
How so?
Because it doesn't have a 1d4 hit dice rating anymore.
That's
so
fair.
I can use it on any creature as I level up, regardless of how powerful they become.
That's fair.
So yes, color spray was more powerful in what it could do, but it could only affect things really for like your first 2 levels.
Right. Goes from, say, like a level 1 save or die kind of effect in a cone, no less, to something that is more applicable long term.
Right.
Albeit with a lesser effect.
Correct.
Right. And that I think is really like the theme of everything that I've seen out of second edition, is that the magic has been kind of like reined in and tapped back. They've lowered the ceiling on this, which is part of what I'm trying to communicate with this. These are all variations of characters I've played in the past, by the way. So
right.
You have made something of a pilgrimage through this. All right. So we have the experience of basically the 2 kind of worst case scenarios of being a wizard. That is a nighttime ambush, especially when you're unprepared, and being outnumbered. And the core idea that I'm trying to get across with this is that there's an incredible amount of variance built into, especially the older editions of D&D, particularly in the sense of what is your baseline armor class and HP? Like how many rounds can you survive before you go down?
Sure.
right? And in the case of second edition, one of the things that's charmed me the most about this is the idea that mage armor, as you've seen, lasts until the next time you prepare spells. And so this puts you in a situation where now, instead of having, say, 4 HP at level 1 and 12 AC in 3.5, you're walking in with 14 HP, so more than 3 times what you were prior, with the exact same con.
Right.
And now your AC is 17 to start as well.
Yeah. Close. Right. So I think what I do really see from this, though, is that at first level, regardless of the system, I mean, it really doesn't matter, right?
I mean,
because in every scenario, it all came down to the dice.
It's true. And really, that is a lot of what level 1 is, right?
Right.
Is
absolutely.
How much do the dice favor or not favor you?
Or how much of a dick the DM wants to be.
It's true. Honestly, this is actually kind of the overarching thesis I'm trying to get at here is the problem with how DMs have traditionally handled issues like this in the past of like somebody is lagging behind is through really house rules and handing off specific loot or boons to an individual, right? And the thing that I want to encourage the D&D community to lean into more is to embrace the systems as they are designed rather than add, like putting your finger on the scale in a way that makes their difficulty systems break down. Because in the games that we've played, our stats are nowhere close to the elite arrays that have been used for these, right?
Right.
What, care to take a guess what like the average stat would be in a, let's say a regular game of Pathfinder? Like how much more would you have to work with in terms of a stat budget than say what you have had just now?
Not enough.
There's never enough stats.
Right. Exactly.
Interesting. See this.
Well, not enough because I've stated it before. I'll state it again. Both not enough and far too much. Right. Because I think the best characters have both very impressive strengths and very ridiculous weaknesses.
Right. You don't want a chat along for your adventure.
Well, I don't 18
want in every stat is too much.
Yeah, but also I want somebody who has, your heroes need to be exceptional in certain ways, but they also need to have very clear vulnerabilities, right? They need their Achilles heel.
Right. Their fatal flaws.
They need their kryptonite. Even if their stats are incredible, they need to have something that is their weakness. What is it that is going to make it so that they have to rely on another member of the party who has that as a strength?
Interesting.
Their weaknesses should be compensated. And that is the big problem I've had with point buy methods or boost methods, is that you end up with a character or a whole group of characters that have a bunch of 14s across the board.
Fascinating. All right, hold on. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying here. So you're concerned with like a boost or point by budget kind of system is that the characters will be too well-rounded and won't have apparent weaknesses?
Yes, absolutely. We've stated this many times. Because if you don't have an apparent weakness, you have no reason to rely on your allies.
Fascinating.
Right? Yeah, you can be... Like one of the cool things about our crazy die rolling method, which I know members of this group have looked at and gone like, that's ludicrous, where we do 3d6, 4d6, 5d6 twice each.
Right.
Yeah, you can end up with a 24 in a stat, which is insane, right?
Right.
But you can also end up with a 3 on that same character.
That's true.
And a barbarian with a 24 strength and a 3 wisdom is going to have all sorts of role play like shenanigans, lots of crazy roleplay, and they're going to require their ally who has, the druid who ended up with that 22 wisdom to really round the party. But if you have 4 characters who all have, 5 14s and 1 18, there's no variability and no requirements that any specific character is the master of any specific thing.
Fascinating. Now, Rob, this is very interesting because you and I have been playing in the same gaming group pretty regularly for the last, 6-7 years now?
I think it's more than that now. It's a long time.
I'm wondering if we're playing with the same people because I can't tell you how many times we've seen people come in with like hilariously min-max characters. I'm talking like sub 10 in several stats.
Sure.
Just to milk out that like 18 or 19 in
right.
one off
But there's a difference. There is a big difference in play style, right?
Wow, that's true.
When you're talking about some of the people we've played with who have used min-maxing, they have not used min-maxing to play a cohesive game. They have used it to try and make their character the only character in the game. And I suppose you can use these older systems to accomplish that, and you can't really pull that off in these new editions. But I don't think you can use the newer editions to make a game that requires your allies the same way.
Interesting. So can you give me a little bit more reasoning behind this idea of the older editions required more interaction from the rest of your team? Because like when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking of it in terms of like tier lists, like your tier 1 wizard who's able to like warp reality.
Okay, and we do have to remember that the tier idea is a very cool idea.
Oh, okay.
It's a very cool concept, but it isn't canon, right?
Okay, it's true.
Nowhere in the books it is a concept that has been player established.
Okay, fair enough.
So it's basically a lot of people's opinions on what the most powerful character is, class is, race is, combo is.
And to be fair, all of the tier arguments usually are based on not being level 1.
Right.
Which dramatically restrict your options. I imagine a barbarian in all of these scenarios would not be very flustered by.
No, that's true. That's if we were playing a different class, or if we had any backup.
That's
like all of these encounters would have been very different.
Right.
I don't think, even one additional player in any of these encounters would have swung it heavily in terms of the player.
Mm-hmm. Some of them you dropped on the first turn.
Right.
Which is exactly the problem, right? Like the time to drop is just too short.
It is short.
Can you give me an idea of what you would like aim for in an ideal encounter? Like how many rounds do you hope to get out of a certain situation? Or do you even think about it?
I don't.
Like that?
I don't even think about it like that. Really, and I know we have a very different approach to gaming, you and I do, because I know that you're a numbers guy, right? Mm-hmm. For you, it's always, what balances on the scales, what's going to be most equitable for the play table, so that one player doesn't feel that they have a less useful character than another member of the table, right?
Right. Feeds directly into the player engagement of how can you actually give them spotlight time if they don't necessarily have a sharp point.
Right. Right. And I think the thing that has been so interesting to see when we've played 5th edition or Pathfinder 2E is especially when it comes to perception checks or roles like a disable device, things like that. It really has come down to everyone at the table rolls the dice, and whoever has the highest number on the dice wins.
Right. Everyone throws a D20.
Everyone throws it out. But in 3.5, you have someone who is a specialist in that. And that person is who the party looks to. And if that person doesn't succeed, well, the party's going to have to come up with another solution because their lockpicking specialist wasn't able to do it. Right.
We're going to have to brute
so
force
we're going to have to come up with a creative solution. Whereas when you have 4 people and somebody is likely to beat that base check of 10 plus whatever our current level is, all right, the story moves on because somebody at the table made it.
Interesting. Can you, how do I say this? So the ideal situation, if I'm hearing you right, is one where the cost to participate in a given situation, like say lock picking, is enough that not everyone can get into it.
Right.
Your cleric has no business getting their lock picks into a log at the same time as your rogue.
Sure. And if you go back to like 3rd edition, even before 3.5, they had these restricted skills, right? You could only use a skill if you were trained in it in the first place.
Right. Which is where we get the untrained versus trained use only.
Correct. Right. And they've kind of done that a little bit with like, are you proficient in it? Are you an expert in it? Are you a master of it? Mm-hmm. So you get a little bit bigger of a bonus as you move on. And I think 2E solves some of that by giving specific classes what they become a master in or legendary in. And so they do get that big bonus, but that doesn't happen until much later. Right. Levels 1 through 6, pretty much everybody has a similar array of skill bonuses.
Right. Unless we're comparing it to say like the Pathfinder editions where you could stack on say like 2 separate feats to get a +5 at level 1.
Right.
In addition to what
you sure. With. Yeah. But I think that's just great. Like if you want to take a first level character in 3.5 or in Pathfinder 1E and you say, I want to be a disguise specialist. And so I'm taking, skill bonus disguise, and I'm taking the other social feat as my additional feat that also gives a +2 to something and whatever. And all of a sudden you're getting a +7.
Right. I mean, heck, it's not uncommon to have like a 13 right from the jump in Pathfinder.
Exactly.
For this exact reason. But it's a matter of like budgeting. Like, what do you have in terms of resources to burn to get that specialist?
Which is a lot different from like 2E, where your feat is going to give you a +1.
Right.
And
you'll reliably have around a +7 to +9.
Right. And then all of a sudden, if you have used your feat on that and you have another character who has has put one of their skill points in disguise and they don't have the feat in it, assuming you're both rolling around with a bunch of 14s because it's, Pathfinder 2E,
right?
Literally the difference is 1.
Right.
And so your trap specialist is maybe at best 5% better.
Interesting. See, I kind of love this because I remember our first conversation about variants in terms of stat generation kind of landed the same idea of taking that specific issue and us coming down on opposite sides of this is good and this is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I'm looking at this and thinking, hey, if the ceiling has been brought down and the floor has been raised, you're reducing variance within the system. You're going to get a more reliable, okay, I could reasonably pick a lock kind of experience.
Right.
But then everyone can get into picking a lock.
Correct. And I think that maybe is something that when we discussed this early on in season 1, about a year ago now, when we first had this, I think it was the 7th episode of our first season that you and I sat down and chatted about stat generation methods. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it was an interesting concept, and I couldn't really identify why it was that I was more drawn to. We can call it min-maxing, but really min-maxing, I think, is more of a method of building where you are trying to do something very different from what I'm talking about.
Right.
So I would call it more of cohesive stat generation or collaborative stat generation, which is very different. Like I do remember very specifically, we spoke with one of our DMs in the past, and we were playing 3.5 at the time, and he said you can't make a useful party of 3 wizards.
Oh, God.
So, the 3 of us playing in that game said challenge accepted, and he shut the game down within 2 sessions because we made min-maxing to a degree that it was like the game just wasn't fun, right?
Well, to be fair, circle magic is a special brand
right.
of cheese.
It's true. But, you make a blanket statement and you get a blanket answer.
That's fair.
So I think, like I was saying, I don't think I had the concept really developed in my mind of why I liked one method over the other. And I think playing in 2E this last few months has sort of helped me articulate what it is that I like that's different, because it has been interesting as a DM where I'm calling for checks and everybody around the table ends up with a similar number. Really the only variation being the number on the dice.
Right.
As opposed to
when everyone's rolling like knowledge society.
Right.
And you're all competing for the same thing.
Correct.
So I find myself in a strange position here because I was ready to come in and really make like the hard claim that house rules are to be avoided as much as possible because the whole system is designed around how you expect it to play. There's a lot of assumptions built into it. Right?
Yeah.
But I think that during this conversation, I've actually been brought around to the idea of I could very much see the value of a house rule in limiting the amount of people who can take a shot at a check, or perhaps only taking like the top 2.
Interesting. Yeah.
For this exact reason. Because like really, I'm not sure it's fair to say that somebody who has, say, like a +4 in society should be throwing out the same kind of check, or even if they're engaged in it, the same way that, say, like your bard who's currently canvassing the tavern is, right? Like they're certainly not going to narrate their own actions in the same way because they're just a very different person, right? And so, like, is this kind of what you're getting at? It's like one of the better solutions would be just to limit who can actually participate on that niche domain.
I mean, I obviously hesitate with the idea of limiting participation in any sense, but I do think that there was just something that was really, really unique about characters that really had a specialization, like a true specialization. And I think the feeling of a lot of the classes and the balance that has been implemented while they do serve a really important purpose of making the game accessible, understandable, and fair for anybody who's getting into it like off the street, right? Like D&D is more accessible than it ever has been before, and the learning curve to start playing is way lower than it was in 3.5 or third edition. Like
these character sheets were not quick to prepare. I spent 3 hours on this.
Right. Well, but it is just so much easier to pick up a character and play now than it ever was.
Right.
And I think that is super beneficial in terms of bringing people into the community. But I think that the complexity and the nuance that was third edition and 3.5 and Pathfinder first edition had something really genuinely awesome about it.
Like
and
the meta strategy of needing to get a party that has those specialists.
Yeah. And I think just for me, I would say what I said last time we talked is that it just felt more like real life. Like it is so much more realistic to me if a group of people is together and one person is really great at solution A and another person's really great at solution B, but I shouldn't be able to do something that I've never had any training in, right? Like I know that if if playing pool, for example, our group is all pretty good and pretty similar in playing pool. Okay. But that does not mean that any one of us should be able to play against somebody who's a pool specialist and plays all the time.
Yeah, like Shark, for example.
Right.
Somebody who has a hilarious amount of time playing pool. Perhaps.
Right. But if we were, say the same level as this person and they had taken the feat, skill bonus pool shari or whatever you want to call it, right? Okay. In 3.5 or whatever, hustler. That gives them that +3. They might get the additional +2. But in Pathfinder 2.0 or 5e, the difference is 1 point.
Well, I mean, you'd be looking at 2, assuming you're level 3 or on, because that expert proficiency does help. But I get what you mean. Like, even the item bonuses go from 5 to 1.
Right, but if you say if we were all first level commoners in 3.5 or 3rd edition or Pathfinder 1e, you could be looking at a difference of like 1 to 13. Right.
Absolutely massive.
So a person who is a true specialist at billiards could still reasonably, unless they knocking the 8 ball on some ridiculous shot that they tried to make, they're going to win every time. Yeah. Which to me feels like real life. Yeah. Well, it doesn't feel to me like real life if they have a 1 point advantage because of the feat that they took.
Right. Interesting. So to make sure I'm understanding you correctly, your goal is to have the variance represented, specifically as a gate against having committed characters traipse over other players' domains.
Exactly. And I do think, like I said, I think Pathfinder 2e does that well as the levels continue, because those bonuses do continue to increase. You get a little bit better at it. But I do think that early on, it's really hard to have a party that really has to rely on one another the same way that they did in earlier editions.
You know, I'm fully on board with this as line of reasoning with one major asterisk, and that is for anything kind of like skill or profession based, anything that involves like the role playing and engaging with the world. I think this is absolutely a reasonable standard to set, especially this bit about like you need a knowledge local check. Let's not have all 5 players throwing dice at the table.
Right.
This takes something away from the experience.
Right.
Absolutely. That said, everyone participates in combat.
Sure.
And the variance in terms of like health, your to hits in an actual game, the damage you put out, these are, I think, the ones that I take particular issue with. Because the scenarios that I want to avoid is very much like this, where you are a level 1 wizard in the back of the party and get axed by a stray arrow.
Right.
Because that is not a great time for anybody who's been a wizard in that position.
Sure. But I would make the argument, though, that while everybody does participate in combat, I don't think everybody should shine in combat. Like, I really don't.
Oh, okay.
Then,
hot take. Because
if you're saying that everyone should shine in combat, you should also say that everyone should shine in social circumstances.
Well,
right. If you're going to balance that aspect of the game that everyone's involved in, everyone is still involved in the other aspects of the game. Shouldn't they all shine there? And if everyone is strong, no one is strong.
So I hear the kind of point you're making, but I'm thinking of this more in terms of, say, like combat and non-combat, because like, let's take the examples we've already covered. take a wizard and a barbarian. A barbarian out in combat is rightly going to trample over a reasonable amount of goblins with almost no effort. But they can still engage in the non-combat side of things very easily. Their perception checks are generally very high. You have survival, athletics, acrobatics, all of your like very physical kind of traits. And granted, they won't participate in, say, like the social interactions in the same way.
Right.
But that is not to say that they don't have like a non-combat impact on the game.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you could also say that the wizard has a combat impact on the game. They just can't stand up front and get hit.
Well, that's certainly true.
Right. Right. So they're still going to have the useful spells and the things that can benefit combat the same way a bard does. Like they're typically not going to stand up front and be the tank, but they are going to inspire the entire party and swing the battle in their favor.
Battlefield control.
Right.
Right.
So I just don't like the idea of mitigating everything to a base level where it feels like everyone's the same character in every scenario.
Interesting. So you
I think that
even in the case of combat, this is fascinating.
Even in the case of combat, because then if we make combat equitable and fair completely for every character regardless of your class, we should make every aspect of the game equitable and fair regardless of every character and their class.
Which is specifically the scenario you're worried about. You don't want 5 people rolling.
I don't. No, it's not even that. I just don't want a scenario where classes don't matter, character doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is who rolls higher on this check.
Interesting. Okay.
Like so I want the variability of human life and the human experience to be represented in the game.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right. And some people are good at thing A, other people are good at thing B. And I want that to be what shines. Like, how am I the hero in this scenario? How are they the hero in this scenario? Right? Like, is this the thing that is when the spotlight should shine on me because this is my thing? Or is the spotlight on me just because I happen to roll higher?
Right. Because that's actually the worst case scenario, right? Because you don't want your specialist getting outshone by someone who, like the wizard who casually rolls a 19 on the strength check.
Right. If I've spent my feats, my skill points, my backstory, my in-game role-playing has all been focused on dealing with this specific scenario, but I rolled a 5 and you rolled a 10. So you get that. You get the glory here. No, the variance I think should still be great enough that my 5 trumps your 10.
Interesting. So boiling this down to rules that we can actually kind of like use in practice. First one stands out to me is that choices should matter.
Absolutely.
I'm 100% on board with that. And then also this idea of rewarding commitment. Somebody's invested.
I think so.
This is what gives you the chance to kind of like let them be the one to exercise the ghost or whatever like specific thing you're getting into, like their area of expertise.
Yeah, I think character specialization in whatever form it takes should be meaningful. Yeah,
interesting. Okay, well, I think that we've kind of explored around this topic pretty thoroughly then, but I do have one kind of hot take question that I'm curious what your gut reaction is.
All right, we'll hit this as sort of the send off for the episode since we're definitely over our normal time. But thank you for sticking with us, Cyclothids, if you've been with us this whole time. Go ahead.
So we've discussed at length this idea of rewarding investment and especially making choices matter, right? And my central points coming into this is this idea of we can minimize lethality to players by reducing the amount of variance in it. That is, sticking to the original character generation rules, like stats as intended, to just kind of like limit the amount of damage that's going out. It's a general idea. But there's another way of doing that I think would be heresy to anybody who's played any amount of these 4 editions, and that is, how do you feel about using a D10 instead of a D20?
I mean, I'll make the same comment I've made on previous episodes when people talk to me about the dice and variability and things like that, is that sometimes the dice don't matter.
Okay,
right?
Interesting.
For me, story trumps all, and enjoyability trumps all, right? I think the downside to that is the dice aren't involved as much as they are a part of the storytelling when you use a D10, right? The numbers are mitigated in a way that you don't have great victories or great losses.
Interesting. You want the highs of the 20.
Yeah, right? You like there's something really thrilling about, I need that 19, you would either have to change the game entirely and reduce everything sort of by a 10, or you would just have to say, well, you're only going to succeed in scenarios where you only need a 10 or better.
Interesting.
Or a 10 or less, right? Like,
Right.
so it would be a really difficult thing, I think, to mitigate. But I mean, there are systems that use D10s, and there's some systems that use D6s only.
Interesting.
So I mean, I know I've had guys on my show that have been developing a system that's getting ready to come out that all you need is a D6.
Interesting.
And so that is, and the way that they built their system, the reason for that is because they want the narrative to take center stage, not the variability of the dice. And then the downside to that is, of course, yeah. And the downside, of course, is that you don't have a lot of the big extreme swings that can make for really interesting stories, but you can tell a more stable story.
Interesting.
So,
I
think it all depends on the DM and the group you're playing with.
That's fair. That's fair. I think I get what you're aiming at with this idea of trying to maintain the highs, because obviously you can't roll a 20 on a D10, right? In keeping with that same kind of idea, how do you feel about something similar where you say, let's say if you have like assurance or skill focus, some kind of that specialization to it, you're not rolling a D20, you're rolling a D10 plus 10.
I mean, I can see the benefits of it. Again, you're just talking house rules, right? Like,
I mean, we've already wandered into heresy.
Sure.
A little more?
So I think my stock answer for all of these what if questions will remain what plays well at your table. I would struggle with it. I think our group would struggle with it.
Oh, you want the lows. Okay. This isn't just about having a 20.
Triumphant successes and critical failures. You got to have both.
Interesting.
Hero has to be able to overcome their weaknesses. There is a lot of story gold that exists in failure.
Interesting.
And it's why I never liked the classes that just allow you to take 10s. It becomes so mundane to succeed.
Interesting. Isn't that like the peak example of specialization, though? You have a rogue who can pick locks in his sleep while drunk.
No, and I can see it in certain circumstances. Sure. Yeah, taking a 10, yeah. But I think I would prefer the rogue that can still succeed on a 2 on lockpicks, but still doesn't get to roll or take a 10 on everything else, right?
Interesting. Okay, fair enough. I can respect that as an answer.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's been an interesting discussion for today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cyclothids, for joining us. As always, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Check out our Patreon. You can find me on Instagram at dungeons_dragons_psychology. Joe, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate it. This has been a lot of fun. Hopefully it's given people a lot of things to think about and consider in their own games. And if you do have thoughts on this, feel free to send us a message on Instagram or send me an email, dungeonsdragonspsychology@gmail.com. And until next time, we'll see you next session.